That emergency proclamation will include closing bars, venues, and restaurants statewide. But in King County, yesterday, the governor said restaurants, bars, venues should close immediately, citing this is the epicenter of the outbreak. The proclamation will be signed today, and there's no word on how long it will last for. So several restaurants are trying to navigate what are they going to do next. It's important to note for people at home that takeout and delivery services are still allowed. People can help businesses by ordering takeout or buying gift cards. In-person dining, however, is not allowed. The governor's new order also does not include grocery stores and pharmacies. Now, when the governor first made this announcement yesterday, he said this will likely cause economic hardship to many businesses, adding his administration is currently looking at steps to address those challenges. In the meantime, restaurant workers are trying to navigate this uncertain time.
It would be different if they said, okay, we have 1 week or 2 weeks or this set amount, so you're like, okay, there's an end to this, but not knowing is a lot of the gut-wrenching feeling that a lot of industry workers are definitely feeling right now.
So when the restaurants, bars, venues officially close, when that proclamation is signed later today, Washington will join a list of several other states who have also shut down these venues. They also are joining states who are banning gatherings of 50 or more people. This was a recommendation by the CDC made yesterday. When the CDC announced that recommendation, they said it should last for 8 weeks. Right now, there's no word on how long the governor plans to have this temporary closure and ban on gatherings in place. We do know he's expected to announce the proclamation at 10:30 this morning. We will carry that live for you on King 5. You can also find it if you download our King 5 app. In Seattle, Callie Greenberg, King 5 News.